Welcome to this deep dive. We live in a world where, practically everything is a touchscreen.
Yeah, literally everything.
Right, like we order groceries by tapping glass, swipe our way through cities. But if you step into a live broadcast room or outfit a massive corporate conference space to direct a multi-camera show, relying on a nested digital menu when the CEO walks on stage is just a recipe for disaster.
Oh, it is a high-stakes digital nightmare, which is why stepping back into the physical realm is so crucial for live production.
Definitely. So today our mission for you is to look at how one specific piece of gear, the HuddleCamHD HC-JOY-G4 serial PTZ joystick controller, bridges that gap.
It is quite a mouthful to say, but yeah, it perfectly bridges the gap between complex multi-camera broadcasting and accessible, user-friendly control.
What really stands out to me immediately is how it completely rejects that whole software is always better mentality.
Totally.
I mean, looking at the physical interface, it is this 3-axis joystick and pressure-sensitive knobs for camera settings like iris, shutter, and gain. To me, it highlights a stark contrast.
How do you mean?
It's like the difference between trying to play a really fast-paced video game on a flat smartphone screen versus using an actual tactile console controller. With physical buttons, your thumbs just know exactly where they are without you having to look down.
Exactly. Muscle memory is the entire point here.
But let me ask you this. Does having all those knobs and that durable metal housing actually make it easier, or does it just look super intimidating to a beginner?
Well, I get why you'd ask that. It might look a bit complex at first glance, but all those rubberized controls are actually built to simplify the cognitive load.
Right, so you're not hunting for settings.
Precisely. You get 7 quick select camera buttons and 10 quick call presets right there on the board. So instead of clicking through 3 layers of software menus just to adjust the lighting on a speaker's face, you have physical buttons.
Oh, wow. So a director can just keep their eyes glued to the live stage instead of looking down at a screen.
Yeah. Plus, it has specific user modes, like a basic mode. So complete beginners can run a show smoothly without accidentally breaking some complex configuration.
That is super smart. But then a seasoned pro could just use the exact same board to fine-tune the red and blue colored game, right?
Yep. Or lock the focus on the fly just by turning those multifunctional knobs. It really democratizes production. But, the user experience on the desk is only half the battle.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. The operator is comfortable using muscle memory. But what happens when that desk is 1,000 feet away from the stage?
Well, usually people think of relying on the venue's Wi-Fi or IP network.
Which becomes a total nightmare when 5,000 attendees show up and start live streaming from their phones. The network gets congested, and suddenly your camera controls start lagging. So wait, is this just a fancy controller that locks you into buying only HuddleCamHD cameras?
Not at all. And that is where the back-end integration becomes critical. It doesn't rely on those crowded IP networks. Instead, it uses serial connections, specifically RS-232, RS-422, and RS-485.
Okay, so instead of sharing bandwidth over a network, you have a dedicated, unshared, physical pipe of data.
Right. It guarantees zero latency during a live broadcast. And it doesn't lock you into a proprietary ecosystem either. It supports VSCA, Pelco-D, and Pelco-P protocols.
Which are essentially universal translator languages, allowing different brands of pan-tilt zoom cameras to just talk to each other without conflict.
Exactly. And the scale is incredible. It can control up to 255 separate cameras from a single joystick.
Wait, 255? That is wild. You'd need that for a sprawling university campus, a casino, or maybe a multi-stage music festival.
Yeah. And because of those serial connections, you can maintain that hardwired link up to 3,937 feet away.
Almost 4,000 feet. That's about 1,200 meters.
It is. It's the equivalent of sitting in a coffee shop and perfectly framing a shot at the stadium down the street. It completely solves massive logistical hurdles for large venue productions.
Proving that analog-style cables are still desperately needed in our wireless-obsessed world to guarantee reliability.
Absolutely, especially when it's backed by robust hardware and good US-based support.
So whether you are upgrading a local streaming setup or wiring a mega venue, this deep dive proves that sometimes the absolute best way to handle information overload is through well-designed, tactile tools.
We spend so much time trying to virtualize our workflows, but the human brain still craves that physical feedback to perform at its best.
Definitely. So I will leave you with this provocative thought. If hardware controllers like this can make managing an entire broadcast studio intuitive for absolute beginners, what other complex software-heavy tasks in your own daily workflow desperately need a dedicated physical joystick to simplify them?